Now I am locked in this country. In this video I will travel to China for the first time. I hope sharing my experience will help many others not to make the mistakes that I did, because the first half of my trip was a nightmare. Anyways, as a Russian passport holder I can have 144 hours or 6 days visa-free in some cities of China. So while traveling in Asia, I decided to make my connecting flights in China and use this visa-free opportunity. My first destination is China's biggest city, Shanghai. Ni hao from Zhongguo. So, my very first impression of China is unfortunately a big frustration, but only because of many mistakes of mine and a really bad preparation for this trip. When I realized that I have such a long layover in Shanghai, I was super excited to meet my Chinese friend that I studied with in the US, who lives here. But the only contact that I have with her is on Instagram. And I thought that this is not going to be a problem because I would use VPN here. In Russia now Instagram and many American social media are blocked. So I thought I will do the same as in Russia, come here, use VPN, that's it. So I come here and the VPN doesn't help me to connect to any social networks, Google Maps, nothing works. I keep exploring Shanghai while telling this story. So I thought that I just need a better and paid VPN and I would be good. I go on Apple Store and at this moment I realize that it's banned for Russians. I can't access Apple Store. Somehow I managed to change the country, download a good VPN, but still nothing works. You cannot access absolutely anything. I expected that it would be the same as in Russia, where the social networks are banned, but you get any VPN and you're good. But here, VPN doesn't help me, so I couldn't access anything. And for 2 whole days, I cannot contact my friend in any way. I did not find any way to contact her. It is very stupid. I'm here in Shanghai and I can't see her. It's just being very bad prepared for this trip. I should have taken her WeChat, the local messenger number. I should have prepared. I did not know this. I can't even access maps or anything. I've traveled so much in the past years, but I've never had really a big culture shock. But here in China, it's really like a completely different planet with its own rules, its own internet and everything. Yeah, I couldn't contact my friend. It's very sad, but I enjoy Shanghai so much. It's an amazing city in my opinion. I will be back in China, but next time I will be more prepared for it. Little did I know, but my Shanghai adventures are not over. Now I am locked in this country. I'm stuck in Shanghai airport. I can enter Korea visa-free as a Russian, but I need a special approval which I can get within 72 hours. I applied for it and it was supposed to come to my email, but I couldn't access it all this time because it's banned here. I thought maybe in the system they would have it approved, so I wanted to check in, but they need the screenshot or anything, and I just can't get it because it's on my email. Nobody here speaks English. Very few people who I managed to find tell me that Gmail is illegal here and there is no way to access it. I downloaded so many VPNs, nothing works. So I'm sure I have this approval, but I just can't access my email because it's illegal. What is this? Honestly, I've never been in such situation. I have no idea what to do. I can't contact any of my friends from Russia, anyone. No messengers work, nothing. Maybe in 3 days, when my Chinese free transit finishes, they will deport me to Russia. Guess what? This is boarding for Seoul. And I got my approval to leave China and to go to Korea. The solution was, I remembered about a Russian app, Messenger VK, which I haven't used for ages, and it turns out that it works perfectly here in China, as well as Yandex browser. And this is not the advertisement of Russian apps, but I guess only American social media and networks don't work here. So I managed to find someone who also still uses VK. It's not that popular anymore, that's why I didn't even remembered about it. I got help from abroad, I got my approval, and whoo, 中国谢谢 bye bye. I'm on my way back to Russia and I'm flying through China, and I've got 6 days visa free again, but this time I'm in the north, in the capital. It's quite chilly here, so I got this traditional, I guess, almond tea, and this trip feels already so much better because I'm super prepared for it now. Okay, here we go. Almost by the entrance to the Forbidden City, I decided to share a checklist of the things that you must do before coming to China that I learned from my own terrible mistakes. This experience actually made me realize how much we depend on technology, because without translator, without maps, without internet, basically, I was so lost. And I couldn't even tell any of my relatives or friends, anyone, that I was in China. Basically, I flew to China and I disappeared for everyone, so they were quite worried. But anyways, I will tell you how to get access to the internet. So, number one, get the VPN ready on your phone, because once you come here, it's impossible. So download the VPN. And many people recommended me Let's VPN. It works very well in China, and now I'm using it with a paid subscription for 1 week. And it really works! I'm not cut from the rest of the world. Number two, in order to communicate with locals, use a messenger named WeChat. And you can text to anyone even without VPN. Number three, have offline maps downloaded. I couldn't download the Google Maps, maybe they don't work for China, but any other ones, and then you will be good. Number four, the offline translation app, because so few people here speak any English, even in Shanghai or in the capital. If I want to ask for directions in the street, how to buy a ticket, if I want to order something, they don't understand the words like no meat, vegetarian, like no words. So have the translation app. Also, if you can't read the Chinese writing, that's very helpful. And number five, withdraw some cash at the airport and then in the city, because Visa and MasterCard payment systems do not work in China. They use Alipay and some other ones, also the Union Pay system, which you can also use in Russia. Not everywhere, but in touristic places in Russia and in some places you can use this as well. But Visa and MasterCard cards do not work here. And now, when I'm all set up, I'm ready to explore. Let's start with the Tiananmen and the Forbidden City, I guess.
Кукурузная надежда, а это западный красный стандартный яичный суп.
I met my Russian, well, Tatar friends from Russia that are studying here in China.
What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna to have a dinner in some specific Chinese restaurant.
We're trying to choose.
Yeah.
It's giving us very weird translations on our translation app. like the exploded belly of Beijing or rolling donkey tongue. We're trying to choose. So this is some kind of traditional dish. It's like omelette with eggs and noodles. And guys have a salad with cucumbers.
Yeah.
That's it? Just cucumbers.
With some green, with some chili pepper.
And some dessert which was named rolling donkey tongue.
Yeah.
But we asked, there is no meat. But the guy said desserts with meat is quite popular. And they gave us hot water, just as I imagined in China.
Yeah, it's something like a tradition in China to drink boiled water. They do not like some cold water. They always warm it up and then drink.
Какие у вас были самые большие культурные шоки, когда вы сюда приехали?
Для меня, наверное, самый большой шок был в плане еды. То есть у нас все-таки в России такая более мягкая еда, у нас есть тушеная, вареная. Здесь в основном вся еда жареная. И кроме того, вот нету молочки, нету хлеба нормального. То есть они очень хорошо готовят лапшу, очень хорошо готовят рис. Ну и на этом все. Это вот, наверное, самый большой для меня шок. Ну, китайцы, конечно, очень доброжелательная нация, очень открытые, но при этом они очень громкие. То есть они очень громко могут на улице рыгать, сморкаться. Вот, то есть такая некая особенность их. И они этого причем не стесняются, могут спокойно делать на людях, в окружении. То есть для них это норма вещей.
А у вас нет такого ощущения, что здесь все так очень контролируется и очень много правил? Например, нельзя использовать Gmail, что это нелегально, чтобы зайти в музей нужен паспорт, чтобы пройти на площадь нужно за день делать пермит и очень-очень много правил. Я даже вот видела в туалете, там было типа no pooping. Government is controlling everything.
Не, ну на самом деле мы до такой степени не сталкивались, наверное, с этим. Единственное, как бы вот у меня есть множество знакомых, которые ходят в мечеть. Я знаю, что если в России это, ну, как бы в свободном доступе, то сразу чувствуются вот эти нотки автократии какой-то в том, что людей, прихожан, которые приходят в мечеть, их записывают, их паспортные данные и даже могут снять на фото, короче.
Я вот лично этого не замечаю, но это для них просто порядок. То есть у нас, условно говоря, в России очень тяжело попасть в университет, а здесь любой человек может спокойно зайти на территорию кампуса, потому что, ну, они знают, что у них все контролируется, то есть это, ну, просто создает какую-то такую безопасность. Я считаю, в этом нет ничего такого.
И везде камеры.
Dessert time with hot water. First time trying rolling donkey tongue without meat.
Непонятно.
Вообще непонятно. Вы поняли, что мы сейчас ели?
Вообще нет.
Даже нет. Hao will take me through this hiking day and explain some of the history of the wall. So how long is it and when it was built?
The different dynasty, they built the different sections of the Great Wall. The total length of the Great Wall is over 22,000 kilometers.
22,000 kilometers?
Yeah, like half length of the equators.
How long will be today's hike?
Around 5 to 6 kilometers total. Some part is steep, some part is flat, but this part is okay, it's not too difficult.
Why it was built here and why in the mountains? It's my first time I see a fortress in the mountains.
Yeah. When we stand here, the Great Wall is the last defensive line to protect the Beijing, which build the Great Wall's main function is to keep the Mongol out.
Why they didn't build it on the border with Mongolia?
Because in the old days, to build the Great Wall, if you want to build it to the northern border of China, that part is difficult because for the soldiers, they do not have much more suppliers. In China, the Great Wall mainly divided into two parts: the inner Great Wall and the outer Great Wall. Different dynasties build different sections of the wall. They have many sections of the Great Wall.
You guys love the walls.
Yeah.
But the part of the wall that we're walking on was built.
During the Ming Dynasty, which is a year beginning from 1368 to 1644.
So this is not the restored part of the wall.
Yeah, this is
original.
Original, yeah.
I know that there are now many restored ones, yeah, like modern.
Yeah, so like the restored part is most for the tourists.
So we are on the very wild part of the wall, which is like this original one. So while I have this opportunity and we're stuck here together, I want to ask you some questions that I always had in my head about China. And you know, China has one of the strongest economies in the world. It's discussed so much in the media, but still the image of it is quite superficial, of people who never been here and only judge China by huge groups of tourists all over the world, and they make their impression only on these tourists. So there are so many stereotypes about China. So I will tell you some commonly known stereotypes from the internet and some of my questions about China that I always wanted to ask.
Sure.
The first stereotype is that Chinese are brainwashed and mind controlled by the government.
We can't see the outside of the informations outside of the China, even the good or the bad news.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we can see.
But how? Because here is no Google.
We can use the Baidu. We can use the internet. We also can see the news of the other countries.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought here it's only all what the government wants you to see.
Like most of the time, I think this is most of the country, most of the government of the country, they want their citizens know
it's
this,
true.
right?
And so, because here all the American social media are banned, and it's mostly Chinese apps and Chinese everything. Do you feel like China is a very closed country?
Before the 1978, the China is closed. But after the 1978, the China is opened. The internet developers before in China, we also have the Google. But after the China, the government is not allowed we use the Google anymore. It's because like if you open the Google's map, you can see every details of the China, even the secret place. That's why the Chinese government has not allowed the Chinese people use the Google map and the Google.
This video will go on YouTube.
Yeah, no problem.
Have you ever seen YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
before we have a YouTube.
Instead of YouTube, you have Bilibili.
Yeah, we have Bilibili. Yeah.
Do you ever can access YouTube?
If you want to use YouTube, you need to buy the VPN.
It's like this now in Russia for Instagram or Facebook.
You also can use
With VPN.
in
Russia.
Same.
Another stereotype from the internet is that Chinese eat dogs.
Before, some part of the people they eating the dogs.
But now?
Now, most of the people they stopped eating the dogs.
Probably they did it because of
ignore.
starvation or something?
I think so in the old days, it's just as like the habit.
The next one, the question is about the policy, one family, one child. Is it like this now or it was cancelled?
No, it's cancelled, which stopped, changed from the year 2016.
For how many years was this policy?
The policy started from 1980 to 2016.
So it was impossible to have the second child?
Yeah, if you had a second child, you need to pay the big fines.
How much was the fine?
I didn't exactly know the price, but it's really big.
But they cancelled this policy because there is no more overpopulation, or?
Yeah, that's because the government realized the aging population in China has got to be increasing.
Another stereotype is that China is a cheap country, which I see is not true at all.
Yeah, it's not true.
For hotel, for staying here, for food, for everything. How much costs monthly rent for instance, in Beijing for 1 month?
Depends where you want to rent the apartment. If you rent the apartment nearby the second ring road Beijing, every month you need to pay at least $1,000 more than $1,000.
And what is the average salary?
For the common people, average salaries in Beijing is like around almost $1,000.
So basically you spend almost everything on renting.
Yeah.
Another stereotype is that Chinese women are subordinate to men. That it's like patriarchal country.
Yeah. Man should be earn the money.
Yeah.
to feed the families. But for most of the big city, even the women they still go to the work. They earn money. They are worked together.
And I always had 3 questions for Chinese.
Yeah, no problem.
So the first one, everywhere you guys travel in huge groups in buses, like 50 people. Why do you like to travel like this?
Because if you join the big groups, you only can pay a little bit of money. If you travel alone, you will spend a lot more money.
So that's the cheap way to travel and efficient.
Yeah.
Because Chinese tourists is always get out of the bus and they say, okay, take pictures, 10 minutes, go.
Yeah. This is true.
Have you ever traveled like this?
No, I don't like to prefer to travel with the big groups.
So second question, do Chinese prefer more non-traditional medicine than official health care?
Before in China, most of the young people they prefer the Western medicine because you take the Western medicine is really fast, help you to recover. You take the Chinese traditional medicine, recovered is really slowly, but they will be really helpful you to,
in the long term.
Yeah, in the long term.
I agree with you. The medicine from pharmacy will stop the pain, but will not heal the problem, yeah?
Yeah.
And traditional medicine will heal your body. So
Because
do people prefer it now as well?
Now the most of the Chinese people they realize Chinese traditional medicine is really good for your body because the medicine is from the nature. It's not chemical.
I think in Russia it's a bit the same.
Yeah.
For example, when we're cold, we take garlic, onions, hot tea, honey,
cinnamon,
herbs. And the third question, I was always told this, that Chinese always drink hot water from any disease.
This because before like 20 or 30 years ago in China, we do not have the good filter system. If you straight drink the tap water, it's not healthy for you. That's why the people need before they drink the water, they need boiling.
I thought that you do it because you thought it was healthy.
It's healthy, yeah.
And just the last question, what do you like the most about living in China?
Food. For me, it's food. Definitely food. and also in China, they have a much more type of the nature landscape because China is huge, like the snow mountain, grassland, desert, gobi, glaze, river.
Yeah, huge country.
Yeah.
And only one time zone, yeah?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, 谢谢。
您客气了。
Why do we have stereotypes and cliches in our head? Usually it's because someone else had a bad experience with some person or a place and told you about it and you decided to believe the story. I guess if my video had only Shanghai part, I would also tell you that China is such a closed country, you can't use internet, nobody speaks English, and all of these just don't worth traveling there. I guess it's important to remember that every coin has two sides. If there is yin, there is always yang as well. Whatever circumstances are, keep the open mind and eventually you will find the beautiful side in anything.